Hi everyone and welcome to this Fan Art Friday video. This week I decided to attempt an art challenge within this video. So I was looking back through my old drawings back in 2015 when I'd recently just started using Copic Markers, and I saw my drawing of Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. I really wanted to reattempt this and just see if I've improved in that time, and I really hope that I have. I've seen other YouTubers doing this challenge and it's always amazing to see how much their style and their ability has developed and improved in that time. And I really hope that I can see and compare the results for myself, comparing myself with my older drawings. I really hope that my ability has developed and improved in that time. I feel like I've learnt a lot, and it's been a couple of years of experience with the Copic markers now, so I'm really interested in seeing what the results are. I know that these days I spend a lot more time on the planning and the outlines. I find it super satisfying to see clean line work, and that's something that I really aspire to in my own art. And I feel like the whole process of working through the lines in this way is really relaxing and kind of therapeutic, just having music or a podcast in the background and just slowly working my way across the drawing. I feel like these days it's a much more satisfying process, and I really do feel like spending the extra time genuinely helps the end result. I also enjoy varying the line thickness in drawings like this, using pens like the Copic Multiliner SP 0.03. I've spent a lot of time with this pen this year, and I've loved how it's given me this control over the lines and just given me the ability to spend more time on the line thickness in areas like the undersides of the hair and just focusing areas that need more shading later on. And I feel like just working on the drawings every week and developing my preferences has helped me to realise that that's the style that I like to use, and varying the line thickness in this way has become very important to me. And it's just it's such a fun and relaxing process. Once the outlines were completed, it was time for me to work on the colouring, and as usual I was using Copic markers, starting off by working on her skin tones. And over time I've developed my preferences for working on skin tones, and for skin tones like this I like to start off with pinkish white and pale heath for the base layers. Then on top of that, to add the shading, I use a mixture of pale grape and light grape along with cool grey 3 and 5. And then on top of that I also like to add a few highlights with a mixture of my white Prismacolor pencil and a Uni-Ball white ink pen. To add some hints of warmer colour tones to some of the areas of the skin, I also use a blush marker around the nose and the lips, and around some of the areas around the eyes. For Mikasa's eyes, inside the irises I blended between cool grey 3, 5 and 7, then I added a hint of blue colouring with light greyish cobalt. Then around the whites of the eyes I blended a little bit of cool grey 3 and 5, before also adding some bright highlights with the Uni-Ball white ink pen. After that, for Mikasa's hair, I started off with cool grey 7 and also blended a black marker for some of the hair in the background, and then I just continued blending between these two markers to add more shape. I also left a highlight around the front that I wanted to add more detail to afterwards. Then after that I filled it in with a cool grey 3 marker I didn't want it to be pure white. After that I then used a white Prismacolor pencil to add some texture to the hair, before also adding some bright white highlights around all of the highlighted sections with my white ink pen. After that I actually filled that highlighted area in with a cool grey 5 marker because I felt like it was a bit too bright and it was kind of taking away from the shape of the hair, and then that's the result I was left with. For her red scarf, I started off by adding a base layer of colouring with a crimson marker. Then I added shading on top of that with a mixture of a cardinal marker along with cool grey 3, 5 and 7, even using a black marker in some areas and then blending it outwards with the cool grey markers. Then I also added a few highlights with the white Prismacolor pencil and the white ink pen. Next up, for the tanned colouring of her jacket, I started off by adding a base layer of colouring with a sand marker. Then on top of that I added darker patches of colouring with a maroon marker, before then also adding shading to each area, using a mixture of the black marker and all the cool grey markers. Then on top of that, to add more details, more damage and scratches to the jacket, I was using the white Prismacolor pencil. Then for the strap across her chest I used a mixture of maroon along with cool grey 5 and 7, then added a few highlights. Then for her shirt I used a mixture of cool grey 1, 3 and 5. Then after that this drawing was completed, And it's so interesting to look at this drawing and then compare it to my drawing from 2 years ago. I feel like it definitely shows that I have a lot more confidence in my line work these days, working on much finer outlines, especially for areas like the hair. I'm so happy to see that there's a noticeable difference between the two drawings, and I feel like I've definitely improved. It's such an awesome challenge to try, and I highly recommend giving this a go. Being able to compare your work with stuff you've previously worked on 1 or 2 years ago, that kind of thing, it's just, you can really start to see how much your style changes over time, and that's why I really do recommend trying this. Please let me know what you think of this, and also let me know if there's any drawings you'd like to see me work on, any video suggestions, that kind of thing. Any suggestions are super helpful. If you want to see more stuff like this, then feel free to subscribe, and any likes or shares on this video, they really mean a lot to me. If you want to follow my progress and see photos before I post these videos, then check out the links in the description box below to check out my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you all soon.